Now, live with Greg Olsen, Director of the New York State Office for the Aging.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Roger Noyes, Director of Public Information for NYSOFA. I'm filling in for Greg Olsen today, and I'm really excited to talk to you about this exciting topic. And we're going to be dealing with the issue of adults, older adults, and competitive athletics. And just listen to some of these sports that we have that we're going to be talking about today. Archery, badminton, basketball, bowling, croquet, cycling, disc golf, horseshoes, pickleball, race walk. There's so many events that we're going to be talking about, specifically with the Empire State Senior Games in Cortland. Now, I also wanted to let you know that there are some other local events for older adults to participate in competitive athletics. They're occurring in Orange County and Chemung County as well. We have some information on the screen about those events. But today we're going to focus primarily on the Empire State Senior Games in Cortland and talking about some of the events, ways to participate, and some of the logistics about how to get involved. This is really an important way to engage in healthy aging and getting out there, combating social isolation, and just having a good time. So it's really important for us to get this information out to you all about how to participate in these events. Before we get started with today's program and our guest, we're going to take a quick break, and we want to talk to you a little bit about Get Set Up. Now, with support from the state budget and NYSOFA programs and services, you can take thousands of online classes for free and even teach them through the platform Get Set Up. And one of those teachers for that platform is Omi. And you can see a little bit about her story and how she is helping older adults stay engaged and learn through the magic of art.
My name is Omi. I'm a teaching artist. When people say, oh, I'm not creative, I can't do it, I show you that you can. I live alone. During the pandemic, my grandson had an accident, left him paralyzed. I was just feeling numb, but all of a sudden, there was Get Set Up in my face.
I am going to do this live right now.
It was exactly what I needed, a creative therapy session.
Now look at this.
Omi, it is so beautiful, and it was so relaxing.
I love doing this.
Get Set Up saved my life, and I just wanted people to try it.
We're excited to present information about Get Set Up, and please go to our website to learn a little bit more, log on to a class, and stay engaged. And speaking of staying engaged and getting connected, I'm very excited to welcome today's guest, Machell Phelps, Executive Director of the Empire State Senior Games. She is also the longtime Regional Director of the Cortland Regional Sports Council, and she's joining us today to talk about everything we need to know about the Empire State Senior Games. So Machell, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're very excited about this topic. I want to start out, and I'm going to ask a quick question of the audience. And please put this in the chat, and I'll give you the answer later, okay? So I have some information from the CDC. Adults age 65 and older, how many minutes or hours do you think per week it is advised that they conduct an exercise or athletic activity? So I want you to think about that. Put it in the chat. I'll give you the answer later in the program, because that's a lot about what we're going to be talking about today. So, Machell, thanks for joining us. We're really excited to talk about this topic. Can you explain a little bit more about the Cortland Regional Sports Council and what it is?
Sure. So the Sports Council started actually in 2004 as a result of hosting the Empire State Games with Syracuse. So we saw the benefit and what it did to tourism at that point in time, and realized that people that are coming here and traveling here for sports, we really needed to take advantage of that market. So we set up the Sports Council, and since then I've been bringing sporting events into our community strictly for the economic impact. We don't realize any financial benefit from it. We do it strictly to benefit our restaurants, our hotels, our shops, things like that here.
It's another great benefit. And we're talking about the benefits of this event: healthy aging, getting engaged. The act of competition is always good to just sort of sharpen our minds and be engaged on that level. But now the economic benefits as well. So it's a great point. So we're talking about the Empire State Senior Games today. It's wintertime. It's cold outside. We're not really thinking about outdoor activities right now, but the events are taking place June 8th to the 15th. Is that correct?
Right. The majority of them will take place during that week. We do have some, like croquet will take place a little bit later. We do have some that are outside of that particular week, but we do try to make sure we advertise that on our website. Yeah.
And so we're talking about it now because registration's coming up, right? Pretty soon?
Right. Registration will open for pickleball first, and that happens on March 1st. And then the rest of the sports, the registration will open on March 15th. But it's important for people to realize what's available and maybe pick what they want to compete in, because they need a little bit of time to train and get ready for that.
Sure. And I have a list here of all the sports, and it's really important for people to check out the list, see what's available, because there's something for you, right? There's something for everyone, it seems.
Right.
So, do you want to speak to that?
We offer things, like bowling, like pickleball, like track and field, but we also offer things like disc golf and cards, maybe some other things that people wouldn't necessarily think about in competing, you know. So take a look at that list. We will have it posted on our website as soon as we confirm all the dates and locations. And I think there's something in there for everybody.
And we're going to have information in the chat, and we have information on screen for links and ways to find additional information about the events and how to register. So
Right.
please look for those links. So can you tell me a little bit more about who can register for the games and where do they take place? All those kinds of logistics.
Right. So like we said before, the majority of the games take place in Portland. We do have some outlying areas where we run some things. And so the games are for people that are 50 and over. You just have to turn 50 by the end of this calendar year. So by the end of 2024, if you're 50 years old, you can compete in the Empire State Senior Games.
Okay, excellent. And you said it takes place in Cortland. Are there many athletic fields, or what's the actual location like for these events?
Right. So things like archery take place at the Cortland County Fairgrounds.
Okay.
And then you have other things like swimming and badminton that take place right on campus at the State University here in Cortland. They're one of our partners, and they've been a great partner since we took over running these from the state in 2011.
So these games have an important relationship with the National Senior Games, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that, what the relationship is, and how people can qualify for the National Games.
Right. So every 2 years, the National Senior Games Association runs the national games. And so in order to compete at the national games, you have to qualify through a recognized state games. So that would be our games in Cortland. You qualify for them, like this year we'll be qualifying for next year's national games, which are being held in Des Moines, Iowa. This past year in 2023, the national games were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So the year before that, we were qualifying people to go to Pittsburgh in 2023. So it's an every 2-year cycle, and I'm not sure people either realize that or quite understand that. So it's important.
So if you want to qualify for next year's national games, this year is the time to do it.
This year is the time to do it. That is correct. Yeah.
If you're just joining us, I'm talking to Machell Phelps. She's executive director of the Empire State Senior Games in Cortland. We're talking about the games, how to register, the list of amazing events that are a part of the games, from basketball to bowling to you name it, and just ways to participate and be a part of the game. So thank you so much for joining us today. We want people to participate in these events, right? So what are some ways we can increase participation and really get the word out and get people to take part in what's a really important event?
We started a program a few years ago, and this was pre-COVID, where we actually worked with what we called our Senior Games ambassadors. And we tried to find people in different communities that participated in different sports. And we asked them to, talk about the senior games, talk about their experience here. We sent them flyers, and we have posters. We have a trifold we can send them. So we do have some marketing material. So if anyone is interested in being an ambassador and helping to get the word out, we would really appreciate that. So just give us a call here at the office or email us.
Yeah, I think the important thing is to talk locally
Right.
among clubs, sports clubs. I mean, there's many avenues to get the word out in your community. And am I right that anyone from around the state can participate in these events? So it doesn't matter where you are in New York, so you can spread the word and talk about these events.
Correct. And we actually are an open state, which means that we will take athletes from outside of New York, but they do not displace the New York athletes as far as qualifying. So if you're a New York athlete, you can't be, pushed out of the top 3 spots by an out-of-state athlete.
Is it possible on that question, if you have a team that you're putting together, and it's mostly New Yorkers, but you know someone from out of state, it sounds like that person could participate just to make it happen and work, and maybe have families doing something together. So is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. You, especially with team sports like volleyball, injuries happen, things happen, and we realize that, you may need to replace somebody on your normal team. And yes, you're certainly welcome to use people outside of New York and Canada. We do welcome teams from Canada, athletes from Canada to come down and participate.
And so one way you can spread the word is by sharing this live stream. I just want to point out that we're broadcasting live at the moment, but this will be available as an archive indefinitely. So please share this link. This is great information to get out into your community and help spread the word among people that that might be interested in these events. Yeah. I think we may have already addressed this, but there's a list of sports that are available. Again, where could people find that list that I referenced earlier?
So it's on our website, which is nyseniorgames.com. We do also have a Facebook page where we try to talk about different sports or maybe different articles that have to do with older athletes. So anything like that, we certainly encourage people to take advantage of.
On that point about articles, I read on the Facebook page, there was a great article that you had posted there. I believe the title was about how these types of senior games, particularly the national games, are important in the fight against ageism. We've talked about some of those related issues, but can you speak to that a little bit?
So I think the National Senior Games website actually has so much valuable information for older adults, and it's not always just geared around sports. They have like healthy living articles. They have ways to train, or maybe ways just to be active. They're a great supporter of older adults and just being active. So I think if you even visit the National Senior Games website, which is nsga.com, there's a wealth of information there.
I think also an important point is, and we've been emphasizing this, and we actually have a section on ageism on our website, but the conversation in our culture for the most part is this, that older adults are frail. Mm-hmm. And while there are individuals that have needs, for the most part, on the whole, on the aggregate level, older adults consider themselves healthy, they're active, they're engaged. So I think just the display of these events really helps combat those views, and it's something that we're always talking about at our agency. Earlier in the program, I just want to mention, so I asked a question of the audience, and I wanted you to consider it. So how many minutes a day do you think an older adult really should be engaging in exercise? And according to the CDC, adults age 65 and older need at least 150 minutes a week. So for example, that could be 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week of moderate intensity activity. And the emphasis is really good, to focus on improving balance. So that's very important. Now, of course, all that information is specific to your health concerns or other factors that might be at play, but it's important to keep that in mind and just know that sort of baseline. And these events are a big part of that. I imagine not only just competing in the games themselves on the date that they're happening, but the training that's involved. Can you maybe speak to how people train, or what type of work goes into that in the lead up to the event?
Right. A lot of times people will look for other either family members or people that they know within the community to train with. And I think partnering with someone or finding a club or a group or an organization that you can participate with, I think really kind of get you to the finish line, so to speak. It's hard to do it by yourself all the time. So joining, like the Y or some local athletic club, things like that, we can certainly help people if they're looking for places to go to train or give them some ideas. We don't necessarily have a program associated with the games that allows that, but we can help them, find other avenues within their community.
As a reminder, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Empire State Senior Games, how to participate, how to register, types of sports events that are involved. And a lot of the information is in the chat and we're putting it on the screen, but we're kind of getting through some of the logistics and talking about the importance of these games really for healthy aging and increasing engagement among older adults. It's important to also think about the spectator side too, right? It's not just the people participating. Is there a way that spectators can be involved?
Spectators can absolutely come to the games, and there's no registration fee for them. We do offer some like on-campus housing. So the only way that someone would actually have to register with the games if they weren't going to compete is if they were going to stay on campus. And that's just because we need them covered by our insurance. So we need to know who's staying there. So anybody, we have a lot of family members that come with the older adults, whether it's their father, their grandfather. And those are some of the special moments that we have within the games.
Yeah, and that's another important focus of our agency and what you're doing is the intergenerational angle. We love activities that bring generations together. In fact, we've been recently hosting these intergenerational game events throughout the state. So those types of interactions are just so important to address issues like ageism, which we just talked about, staying socially engaged and those kinds of things. So that's a wonderful component of this event. So can you tell me a little bit about National Senior Games Week?
Yeah, so for the first time, the national office is promoting a week in March, and it's March 18th through the 24th. And it's going to be a nationwide promotion started by them where they're just going to have some information on sports. They're going to work with us to promote the games within our own states, provide toolkits to us to get the word out and talk specifically about our games. So I think it's just a way to get people participating and maybe just aware of what's going on.
Okay. I don't know if we've addressed how many people typically participate each year in the games.
So it really varies on whether it's a qualifying year or a non-qualifying year. So this last year we had almost 1,400 people, and it was a non-qualifying year. So this year, because it's a qualifying year, we expect that we'll have over 1,500 people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, given the size of New York, though, it's my goal is to get to 2,000. So if we could ever get to 2,000 athletes in a qualifying year, then I feel like my job might be done.
Yeah. Excellent. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Empire State Senior Games and how to participate and some of the types of events that are offered and that older adults can compete in. So thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, another break, and it's related to the topic. So our communications team recently had the opportunity to meet with Ron. He's a volleyball competitor whose team won gold at the 2023 National Games. And as you'll hear from this next video, we're going to play you a little footage. The competition can be pretty stiff at these games, so take a look.
Hello, my name is Ron Soroika. I play on the Buffalo KAV men's volleyball team. Our sponsor, Jeff Kryzik, sponsors us for all our tournaments. And this year in Pittsburgh, we won the gold medal in volleyball in men's 60s. Yes, so we ended up in the New York State Games winning gold the prior year. And of course, that qualified us for Pittsburgh. And when we got to Pittsburgh, we started out great the first day, going undefeated. Next day, we ran into a few problems and we ended up as the 5th seed. So coming out of the 5th seed, we had to cross over and beat the 3 seed from the other pool. winning that match in 3 games. We then had to go on and play the number 1 seed, who we beat in 2 games. And eventually we ended up playing 10 games on Saturday to go all the way and win the gold medal in volleyball. So our team is made up of a basic 12 guys. We've been together for almost 20 years. So when a tournament comes up, I put the feelers out to everyone in an email who's available. And of course, as we get older, the other variable that comes in is injuries. So this past year, we ended up with 9 guys from the Rochester team, and we ended up picking up 2 or 3 other guys that we've played with in tournaments. So for us, we've been competing for many, many years. As a matter of fact, we have played in every seniors game since National Seniors Tournament since 2011. So in 11 we won bronze, and 13 we didn't medal in the gold bracket. 15 we finished 4th, 17 we finished 4th, 19 we won bronze in Albuquerque. The year before in Fort Lauderdale we won bronze again. So we said, we've got to try to do what we can to get gold, and this year just panned out for us. My role has always been that we're here to win. So sometimes you have to make the tough decisions, but since we've been doing it so long, if I have somebody sit, they should know they're not playing well. And that goes for myself. If I'm having a bad game, I take myself out. So we're all really good friends also, as far as the Rochester group. And what makes that impactful is when we go to these national tournaments, we're running into teams from California or wherever, where they're pulling guys from all over the country. So for us to be a bunch of guys from Rochester, New York, and when we go to senior games or we go out to the Huntsman World Senior Games and we win a medal, and I always mean a medal in the gold bracket, it's saying something, because we didn't go out and pull, the best guys from this state or that state. It's basically our core group of guys. And of course, due to injuries or people can't make it, we do pick up a guy or 2. I think anybody that's interested in participating should make the effort, try to qualify, because the competition itself is great, but you're meeting other people, same age as you, maybe a little different qualities, different skill sets. But the fact that you're out there competing, meeting other people, because when we go to these tournaments, we see the same guys for the last 10, 15 years, and you just get to be buddies with them. It's just the travel, the camaraderie alone is just almost as fun as the competition.
That's wonderful. I want to thank Alex Hyatt from our communications team for doing that interview and talking to Ron. I heard a lot of things from that.
Mhm.
Camaraderie was a big one. The friendships, it sounds like he's been 20 years long friendship. So there's a really important element to that is just really meaningful, at least to me, and I think to everyone else that heard that.
It is. And I think, there are a lot of people that just come to the games so that they can make sure they see their friends, the people that they met 10 years ago or that they competed against last year, so that the social aspect is a huge component of the games.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Empire State Senior Games. We just heard from Ron, a competitor who got the gold at the national games, but we're talking about the games in New York State. That is a qualifying game for the national games. So we're providing some information in the chat. We've had it on screen. And if you're just catching the broadcast now, we'll be having a reprise archive version of the broadcast up on our social media channels for you to check out at any time. We're going to take some questions from the audience at this point, and if we could just take those right now. So for the first question, are these games only for elite athletes?
No, I think people just starting out can find something that they can compete in. So I think, maybe one of the important things to mention is that you compete in a 5-year increment. So we have people that are 50 to 54, and then 55 to 59, 60 to 64. So as a 50-year-old, you're not competing against somebody that's 75 in any given sport. So you compete within your gender and within a 5-year increment.
Okay. Great. Next question.
So definitely the most popular sport right now is pickleball. I mean, we have seen such a surge of registrations for pickleball. It is our largest sport as far as registration goes. Last year we had 556 participants, and we actually had to cut it off because we only have so much space to use, only so many courts to use. We do run pickleball indoors. We don't do anything outdoors just because, you know, you never know about the weather. So it is an indoor sport that we do. Volleyball and then track and field are also two of our most popular sports as well. So I do expect this year we're going to have as many volleyball teams. Last year we had around 30 between the men and the women. This year we'll probably have anywhere from 30 to 35.
So I'm glad you addressed the sort of, there might be a cutoff on some of the sports, you know, based on popularity. So I guess you would probably encourage people to just look at the whole list and really see, you know, if for some reason you can't make it to one of the sports, you know, there's so many other things that are happening, right?
There are. And, you know, I think it's important too. We're one of the only states that offers a one-time registration fee. So once you pay your registration fee of $45, if you're a New York State athlete, you can compete in any of the sports that we offer. You don't have to, it's not $5 for this one and an additional 10 for that one. The only time that there are any additional fees is for bowling. You know, there is a fee per game for bowling plus the registration fee. And golf, there are greens fees for golf that are added.
So for team sports, yeah, is there a way to get matched with team? You want to do a team sport, but you don't have a team. So, you know, any advice in that area?
So what we usually do is if we hear from someone that's looking to participate in a team sport, but they're not part of a team, is I'll try to go through and look at what teams are in their age group and then put them in touch with the captain of that team. A lot of times, though, the teams are already kind of set, like Ron kind of mentioned, that he's had his team and they've been together for 20 years. So it really is better if you can find a group of people to participate with and get your team set up and then register as a team. For the national games, they do have a component on the registration area where you can find a partner. Mm-hmm. And so they do have a way for you to partner up with people if you're looking for someone, but that's not something that we offer specifically at the Empire State Senior Games.
Okay. See if there's any more questions at this point. We have some information up on the screen. If you're joining us here, today's topic is the Empire State Senior Games, where to watch, how to register, and compete. Please share this link around. I want to thank our guest, Machell Phelps from the Empire State Senior Games, for participating today and talking to us about this great topic. So thank you so much for the conversation. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate being here and having the opportunity.
So I also want to thank our communications team, Alex Hyatt and Darren Boyson, who are behind the scenes making this happen with the live stream. So much thanks to you. And our next topic is going to be on February 15th. We're going to be talking about ageism in children's books, which is a kind of an offbeat topic, but what's exciting about it is how older adults and younger generations can read books together, use storytelling as a way to talk about ageism, and hopefully combat it in the process. So I want to thank you for joining me, and please follow our social media channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all the channels that are out there that we have to see about upcoming live streams and other events. So thank you very much.
Live with Greg is a production of the New York State Office for the Aging Communications Bureau. Please make sure to join us next time.